In recent weeks, Joe Biden has been pushing his disastrous economic agenda called Bidenomics. But what is Bidenomics? Well, here's a preview.
Let's be clear about what Bidenomics really is. I mean, the economic plans out of this administration have been very clear. Spending, regulation, and higher taxes. That's what Bidenomics is.
And thanks to Joe Biden's war on American energy, in 2022, Americans paid the highest gas prices ever, over $5 a gallon. In fact, Joe Biden has set a lot of records, like 40-year record high inflation, like 26 months of collapsing real wages, the longest streak on record. And thanks to Bidenomics, hardworking Americans now owe nearly $1 trillion in credit card debt, an all-time record high.
The cost of housing, shelter up 5.5% in 1 year. Electricity up 13.5%. Natural gas up almost 40%. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner is more expensive. Food up 10.5%.
Bidenomics means 1/3 of Gen Z and millennials have absolutely zero savings. Nothing. But it wasn't always like this. In fact, Joe Biden inherited a booming, robust economy from President Donald J. Trump.
Remember, Mr. Biden inherited a 6.5% growth rate with roughly 1.5% inflation from his predecessor, Donald Trump. Essentially, Biden's big government socialism has turned a booming economy into a bust.
Under President Trump, wages were up, unemployment hit historic lows, and on his last day in office, gasoline was only $2.39 a gallon. President Trump created 7 million new jobs, triple the projections, leading to the lowest unemployment rate in nearly 50 years. The Trump economy lifted 7 million people off of food stamps and achieved a record-high stock market and record 401ks. Under President Trump, unemployment rates for African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, Native Americans, women, veterans, individuals with disabilities, and those without a high school diploma all reached record lows.
And the other candidates can only claim they know how to run a national economy. No one knows if they do or not. Trump is a proven, well, look who I'm telling, Trump is a proven winner on the economy.
The communist left always hurts the very people they pretend to help. Under the disaster known as Bidenomics, Hispanic Americans, African Americans, and young people are hurting like never before. The Biden economy, 1/3 of the Gen Z and millennials have absolutely no savings, nothing whatsoever. Home ownership has been pushed out of reach for millions, with the rate for a 30-year mortgage up 157% and going much higher. Real wages collapsed 26 months in a row, and that's a record. Typical Americans have seen their incomes crushed by $7,400 a year since Biden took office, the biggest pay cut in many decades. Credit card debt has just reached an all-time high, with American consumers owing nearly $1 trillion on their credit card bills, up 17% from just a year ago, one of the largest increases in history. This is an economic calamity and a human tragedy. Very sad to watch. My mission is to rescue hardworking families from the nightmare of Bidenomics and restore the American dream, something you don't hear too much about anymore. And that's going to be restored for you and for everyone you love. Under my leadership, household net worth rose to an all-time high, and the African American, Hispanic American, Asian American poverty rates hit an all-time low. We built the greatest economy in the history of the world, and when I'm reelected, we will quickly do that again. No administration in modern times has matched the power of our America First economic formula, and they never even came close. We had low taxes, low regulations, low inflation, maximum American energy production. We were energy independent, and fair and reciprocal trade. Under Trump, every policy is about making life better and more affordable for hardworking American families. So to every American who is struggling under crooked Joe Biden, and he is indeed crooked, the most crooked president we've ever had, help is on the way. I am fighting for you as hard as I can. We're doing a job. Together we will make America wealthy again, and we will make America great again. Thank you. Crooked Joe Biden, our disgraced president, has wasted trillions of taxpayer dollars in less than 3 years, causing uncontrolled inflation that is crushing working families. Reining in Biden's wasteful and unnecessary spending is vital to stopping inflation and rescuing our economy from ruin. But the pain of the spending cuts must be borne by the special interests and Washington bureaucrats, not by American families and American seniors in particular. For 200 years under our system of government, it was undisputed that the president had the constitutional power to stop unnecessary spending through what is known as impoundment. Very simply, this meant that if Congress provided more funding than was needed to run the government, the president could refuse to waste the extra funds and instead return the money to the general treasury and maybe even lower your taxes, although we did give you the biggest tax reduction in history and the biggest regulation reduction in history, two things I'm very proud of. And they still are there, although they're disappearing rapidly under Biden. Thomas Jefferson famously used this power, as did many other presidents, until it was wrongfully curtailed by the Impoundment Control Act of 1974. Not a very good act. This disaster of a law is clearly unconstitutional, a blatant violation of the separation of powers. When I return to the White House, I will do everything I can to challenge the Impoundment Control Act in court and, if necessary, get Congress to overturn it. We will overturn it. I will then use the president's long-recognized impoundment power to squeeze the bloated federal bureaucracy for massive savings. This will be in the form of tax reductions for you. This will help quickly to stop inflation and slash the deficit. To prepare for this eventuality, on day one, I will order every federal agency to begin identifying large chunks of their budgets that can be saved through efficiencies and waste reduction using impoundment. Of course, this will not include national defense, and unlike Ron DeSanctimonious, who doesn't really know what's happening, I will not lay a finger on Medicare or Social Security. He wants to destroy Social Security and basically obliterate Medicare. These are benefits for our seniors. We are not going to touch it. There are many other things we can do. We're not going to let Ron DeSantis do anything to hurt Medicare or Social Security. On the contrary, some of the funds we save through impoundment from other parts of the government can be used to strengthen Medicare and Social Security for years to come. Reasserting the president's historic impoundment authority will also restore critical negotiating leverage with Congress to keep spending under control. Very simple. We're going to keep spending under control. We had it done, and then COVID came in, and we had to do some things to help save our country. We did a great job, but we were starting to make lots of money. We were energy independent. We were going to be energy dominant. We were going to be taking in massive amounts of money from the liquid gold that we have under our feet more than any other nation. And we were going to reduce taxes and pay off debt. This is the only way we will ever return a balanced budget, impoundment. Just as importantly, bringing back impoundment will give us a crucial tool with which to obliterate the deep state, drain the swamp, and starve the warmongers, these people that want wars all over the place, killing, killing, killing. They love killing. And the globalists out of our government. We're going to get the warmongers and the globalists out of our government. With impoundment, we can simply choke off the money. This policy is anti-inflation, anti-swamp, anti-globalist, and it's pro-growth, pro-taxpayer, pro-American, and pro-freedom. I alone can get that done. I'll get it done, and I'll make America great again. Thank you very much. Joe Biden has run up record trade deficits, also known as losses, higher than any president in history by far. These gaping wounds are costing our country countless jobs and trillions of dollars in wealth. One of my top economic priorities will be to stem this bleeding and put American workers on a level playing field. It's about time. And I must say, I did it 3 years ago, and they were doing great, but that's been blown out the window by the Biden administration. But to that end, I will pass landmark legislation that will be known as the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act. If India, China, or any other country hits us with a 100 or 200% tariff on American-made goods, we will hit them with the same exact tariff. In other words, 100% is 100%. If they charge us, we charge them. An eye for an eye, a tariff for a tariff, same exact amount. One thing is going to happen. Probably they drop the tariff, but if they don't, that's okay. We'll take in plenty of money. Under the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act, other countries will have two choices. They will get rid of their tariffs on us, or they will pay us hundreds of billions of dollars, and the United States will make an absolute fortune. There will be no more unilateral economic surrender like we've done for many, many decades. This will especially help our great farmers in Iowa and other agricultural states, and it'll help our manufacturers all across the nation. We will be knocking down barriers to American farm products, American dairy products, steel, just about everything you can think of. From all around the world, they take advantage of us, but no more. We must have fairness and reciprocity. That's the word, reciprocity. They do it to us, we do it to them. This will be a key part of our strategy to return jobs and wealth to the United States and launch an economic boom that will lift up our middle class and eliminate our dependence on China and other countries. And it's something that has been waiting to happen for a long time. We have been the whipping post for everyone else. We have been a country that was disrespected on trade and, frankly, disrespected on just about everything. No more. The Trump Reciprocal Trade Act. Thank you. Joe Biden is waging war on the U.S. auto industry with a series of crippling mandates designed to force Americans into expensive electric cars. That's just what you want. Even as thousands of electric cars are piling up on car lots, all unsold. This ridiculous Green New Deal crusade is causing car prices to skyrocket while setting the stage for the destruction of American auto production. These extreme left-wing policies are a disaster for families and consumers and are one of the main reasons the average cost of a new car is now over $50,000. Absolutely outrageous, and there's never been such a price before. These exorbitant prices are despite the fact that Biden is spending billions and billions of taxpayer dollars subsidizing electric cars for rich people, while normal Americans can't afford to use one, nor do they even want to. Biden is killing American consumers, and he's also killing U.S. manufacturing. In an all-out attack on American-made pickup trucks, SUVs, and other automobiles, Biden doubled CAFE standards, a move that is projected to cost automakers $200 billion. By one estimate, Biden's electric vehicle mandate will slaughter 117,000 U.S. auto manufacturing jobs, with workers in Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio among the hardest hit. And I hope United Auto Workers is listening to this, because I think you better endorse Trump, because I'm going to grow your business, and they are destroying your business. They are absolutely destroying your business. How people can vote for you just because it's an automatic Democrat vote. Look how they've decimated the car industry over the years. Mexico has 32% of the business that we used to have. It's ridiculous, but they didn't do it while I was president, I can tell you that. If Biden's assault is not stopped, American auto production will be totally dead. That's why I'm going to terminate these Green New Deal atrocities on day one. In my first term, I fought for auto workers like never before, canceling TPP, which was a disaster, ending the NAFTA nightmare. The NAFTA trade deal was the worst deal ever negotiated on trade, and renegotiating Obama's horrendous Korea trade deal made it a great deal from a horrible deal. I saved the American auto industry once, and now I will save it again. Every voter in Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina needs to know, if you want to have an auto industry, you need to defeat Joe Biden. He's a corrupt president, and re-elect President Donald Trump. Thank you very much. We will take care of you.
How far will the most corrupt president in history go to keep Republicans from winning back the White House? Meet the cast of unscrupulous accomplices he's assembled to get Trump. Alvin Bragg, the radical liberal New York prosecutor who refuses to prosecute violent criminals. Jack Smith, who's made a career persecuting innocent Republican officials. Letitia James, the socialist who ran on the promise, "I'll go after Trump." And Biden's newest lackey, Atlanta DA Fani Willis. So incompetent, on her watch violent crimes have exploded. So tainted, Willis was thrown off one case for trying to prosecute a political opponent. So corrupt, Willis got caught hiding a relationship with a gang member she was prosecuting. So dishonest, Willis was accused of creating a fake subpoena. Welcome to the Fraud Squad.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.